Hey cycling community, this is Steve, Bruce's Cycling Greek. Before I start the video, let me get those of you whom are not familiar with my channel up to speed. A little over 8 years ago, I had my first atrial fibrillation attack where I made some changes to my lifestyle, including no more long distance events. Since then, I've had 6 AFib attacks, none of them having to do with any of my training. Fast forward to this past year, I started coaching this one young woman on her ultra distance goals, where I started joining her on some of her training rides. After she had a late season ending crash, I took some time off the bike and then started my off season where I focused on squats, deadlifts, and lunges. I had one workout based on FTP and one workout based on VO2 max. Any other time, I could do whatever I wanted on the bike. And so what I wanted to do was train and see if I can get ready for this local double century. Now you're up to speed. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll see the major mistake I made for this double century. This is our pace for the first hour or so. I wanted to make sure that I was connected at about the 30-mile mark when we started the first major climb. My FTP is 270 watts. You'll see me approaching close to 400 watts trying to stay with these guys. What I should also mention is that my LT1 heart rate is 117 BPM. My max heart rate is about 162. Right now, I'm in threshold. Currently, we're on the Broken Bridge climb, which is a steep climb and turns a little wallish toward the end. I took the lead, hoping that the others would stay behind me. Other than 2 or 3 going ahead of me, most everyone else did. The reason I'm riding so stupidly and trying to stay with these guys? I want to get to the bottom of the first major climb with them, which happens around mile 30. When I did get to the top, my heart rate was about 95% of my max, and I wasn't going to chase those 3 guys. Fortunately, somebody went in front of me and pulled me and those remaining to the small breakaway. I rode wheels for the next 5 miles or so before we got to what I call the Hill of Will, which is approaching the first rest stop. This is a 1-mile climb which has just about a little bit of everything, including a little wall in it. In fact, a couple of little walls. This still is not what I consider the first major climb of the event that I'm hoping to be connected with these guys to. It is here where I lost contact with the front group.
Steve,
Hey,
buddy.
hey,
How you doing?
well, still hanging in, And I was trying to keep up with you guys on the climb at the end, and I just couldn't do it. Good on you. Water
French
is
toast, bacon, water.
Come on.
Yeah, yes we do.
Thank you.
There's French toast, bacon.
Clockwise? Clockwise, counterclockwise around Bass Lake.
We go clockwise. We turn right there at the Valero.
Coach!
Hey! Oh man, these guys are fast. I'm not gonna last too much longer.
I'm attacked today.
You can maybe take me home. Well, I don't think the fast guys stopped, but some stopped. Now, if I could just hang on to the wheels to the bottom of the main climb.
A day before the event, a friend of mine told me that I should hook up with 3 of our friends, Steve, Ruel, and Tuolo, because they're going to ride as a group. I thought that was a great idea, which of course I threw out right after the start of the event. I figured that I could hook up with them later on in the day.
Now I'm on my way to the bottom of the first main climb. I'm caught by some other strong riders and we work together. I say work together only because they just wouldn't let me sit on their wheel. I had to go to the front and do a little bit of work. When we get to the main climb, then they slowly ride away from me. All I want to do now is just stay within myself and finish this event within the time parameters that I had set. Much less just being able to finish this event.
At this point, my legs are screaming. One of my quads in my right leg is in so much pain. Whenever I stand up, my vastus medialis in both legs show significant problems, and I have other little things that are starting to creep up that I can tell are going to be a problem later on. When I was first training for this race, I was training just to be able to do 200 miles. I didn't realize that the first 60 to 90 minutes was going to be a road race. I knew my lungs were going to be fine. The question was now, can my legs handle the workload?
No, I expect you to pull me the rest of the way.
I think I need to help.
Got a camera. Oh, there you are. This is about mile 44 almost.
Steve's with me and I'm in trouble. I'm surprised Steve caught me so quickly. So one of two things is happening. His climbing is either improved or I'm really hurting in mind. When he went to the front, it was as if he never saw me. I think I lost Steve. Thank you very much. I'm gonna.
Where's she at? The lady that wanted whole bananas. Where's she at?
Got 3 cookies. Oh, there you are. Oh, excuse me. Hey, Steve, I'm gonna go slow. You'll catch me, and then I'll try and hang on your wheel. Oh, is he back there? Oh, I thought he was. Okay. We're both struggling. Okay. Oh man, I didn't realize how calorie deficit I was.
Greek cyclist.
Cycling Greek!
Cycling Greek.
Cycling Greek right there.
Awesome.
There you go. You're on the camera, baby. Well, you saw I had a bunch of those small potatoes. Oh, they tasted good. Put salt in it too. Needed it for my legs. And a bunch of chocolate chip cookies. I could have eaten more, but that wouldn't have been good. Okay, so Steve's waiting for Tuolo, and because he says Tuolo's struggling, that'll help me out. So I'm obviously taking off before him, and you know they'll catch me. I just need to keep moving. Gone 55 miles in about 3 hours 40 minutes. Yeah, there's a lot of climbing involved, but I don't want to ride in the dark too much. Okay, there's some people behind me. Maybe I can grab wheels if they're not too fast. Soon after leaving the second rest stop at Bass Lake, I hooked up with these 2 riders. We rode the mostly downhill into North Fork, then headed over to the Powerhouse climb. Since they were not local, I warned them about the descent into the bottom of Powerhouse. It's tight and the roads are bad. After the drop started, they went faster than I did, and I was okay with that. In my younger Cycling Greek days, I was a maniacal descender. After my first crash downhill, I still didn't learn my lesson. It wasn't until my second downhill crash that I got a lot more cautious. You can see how bad the roads are, and I'm going about 33. Now this guy's coming around me, and now he's grabbing a handful of brakes because he's going all the way to the right edge. There's nothing over that right edge except cliff. A little later down this 5-mile descent, I came across this. Saw the sag, saw people standing around, and I thought, oh my. I later learned that at least 2 riders crashed, and the one that took the worst of it was the third in the group I was supposed to look for, Ruel. As it turned out, he showed up later on in the ride. He was bandaged up, his elbow was swollen, but he was functional. When you can ride, you ride. As an example of how much I'm hurting, all those riders that were standing around, most of them already passed me up. This is the last group. And the young lady in the gray there, she's only 14. In a little while, she'll just ride up ahead of me. One of the things I neglected to mention about the pain in my legs is the rest stops. At each of the rest stops, they had pickle juice. I never had pickle juice before, and my legs were hurting. I heard it's great for cramping, but cramping was not an issue for me in this ride. So I took some. Why not take something new at an event that you haven't done in training? I made other mistakes in this ride, so this was just going to add to it if it was a mistake. What turned out is that it took the pain away from my legs, at least for a while. From what I understand, it helps with cramping, like I was mentioning, but someone had told me that it interferes with the signal for the cramping so you don't cramp. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. I guess I could Google that, but since I have you guys on the line, you can comment below on that.
Sugar, where's sugar?
Sugar. Lots of sugar, not too much salt. You need some salt?
So is it?
Salt. Chip salt?
Salt?
Just did it.
All right, thank you.
How you doing, Steve? Hanging in there?
Yeah.
This is Richard that is riding.
Pickle juices.
Yeah, pickle. There's some in the containers and there's some over here if you want to serve like a quick shot. Hi, Steve. How you feeling?
Like I'm making all the mistakes.
Oh, no!
Once we got on the valley floor, we had long sections of flats, and that would lead us eventually to the Pine Flat climbs. I was with the rider that you saw, but then when we got to the small climb,
We'll hand the wheel for a little bit. Man, he was pretty strong. That was silver shoes. Okay, in case you missed the last time, why don't you listen to a finely tuned machine? Gotta love it, huh?
a little while later, the others caught me, and I rode their wheels to the next rest stop. Now, when I say riding their wheels, what's happening at this point is that it hurts to ride anybody's wheels, because usually they're going faster than my legs want to go. At the rest stops, even though I needed calories, I was finding it hard to digest certain foods. It's as if certain of my enzymes, certain types of enzymes, were now getting depleted. At this rest stop, I actually had a small turkey sandwich, and that seemed to help a lot. I also found myself going to fruit. Doesn't have a lot of calories, not very dense, but it was helping a little bit. In my water bottles, I was using either Heed that they had at the stops, or if they didn't have Heed, they had Gatorade. Speaking of water bottles, listen to this.
No, straight. Straight and then it turns left. Oh man, look at this. A bottle's back there.
Oh no.
Well,
You didn't stop and turn around?
No, I'm not gonna turn around. I just saw this now.
Oh. That what, 4 miles, 3 miles?
Nah, I'm not going back. I can barely go forward. I left my bottle at the water stop. That's really gonna suck.
Fortunately, at the next water stop, one of the rest stop workers, Jim, had an extra water bottle. So now I was back in business and had one less thing to worry about. That rest stop was at mile 140, and it was 17 miles to the turnaround point. After that, it's home I go. On the way there, all of a sudden, this rider that you see in front of me, Tuolo, shows up. He's riding strong. I'm on his wheel, and again, as before, anytime I'm on someone's wheel, it's hurting me. And he did not look anything like what was alluded before. He does not look like he was struggling. As with all the other rest stops, I took off before everyone else did. Reason being, I get to ride a little slower, get to warm my legs up again, and so when they do catch me, I have a better chance to stay with them a little longer. I also wanted to get to the final descent before they caught me, just because there's some small climbs leading to it that they could drop me on.
Okay, status report. I'm heading back. Still a Pine Flat. Still a lot of climbing to go. I'm at about 160 miles, which is the longest ride I've done so far recently. And we got 40 to go. It's 5 o'clock, and I have 90 minutes of daylight left. And my phone is just about out of juice. Here's to everything going smoothly.
Just a little while later, Steve, Tulo, and Well caught me, and that was well before the descent. Fortunately, I was able to stay with them, and that may have been partly because they were slowing up toward the end before we got to that descent. When we got to the last rest stop, which was the rest stop that you had seen since we're doubling back, I had a friend of mine text on their phone to the Fetching Mrs. Cycling Greek the status of what was happening with me, that my phone was dying, and when I anticipated to be back into the finish. As before, I took off before the rest of the others did. Reason being, there were some undulations that I wanted to get through before they caught me, but they caught me before those undulations. So I'm now hanging on the wheel again. and every pedal stroke is a struggle. At each rest stop, I was taking pickle juice like shots of whiskey. That rest stop was at mile 174, 26 miles to go. And once we got onto Belmont, then it's all flat from there. Once we got on the flats and the sun had started to drop, I started to lose their wheel. I was having some problems. I was going to have them go on and just roll in at my own pace, but they said, we're not going to leave you hanging out here. However, at mile 190, I couldn't turn my legs over fast enough to even hit 15 miles an hour. So I had them go on.
You may notice the lighting's a little different. It's taking me most of the day to get this video done. All right, mile 190, it's dark, I have good lights, and so I'm just rolling in at my own pace. And that pace is, not the best, but I'm going forward. I take a wrong turn because I see an arrow on the ground, at least I think I see an arrow on the ground, which really wasn't there. Double back, now I'm on the right path, and now it's a couple miles before the finish. This other group of riders, strong group of riders, catches up to me. So now I'm following their wheels. I'm real thankful my legs are doing a little bit better because I was able to go my own pace for all that time period, let's say the previous 8 miles. Okay, so now they're starting to congratulate each other, maybe doing some high fives, but in doing so, they almost crashed twice with me behind them. And this is like a group of 5 people or so, 5 or 6. So I don't want to crash. So I jump away from them and they get on my wheel, and now I lead them in for the last quarter mile. Turn into the parking lot and I see that they moved the finishing gate. That's where the timing chip reader is. And so you have to go up this little ramp, turn right, turn left, cross the gate. So at that last left turn, I cross the gates and I just can't do the turn correctly. My body's not working well, my legs aren't working well, and I start to fall over. And so now on the way down, I'm thinking, that's cement. I am an old guy. Is this how I break a hip? Because ordinarily, if I'm falling, I can just roll with it to distribute the force. But again, my body's not working correctly, and I just clunk. Didn't break a hip, so that was good.
I crossed the line and I crashed.
Oh, no, you're kidding.
And I didn't have it on video.
Oh, no. So it didn't get on video?
No.
Oh, shoot. Good job, buddy.
Oh, man. Obviously, I didn't have the camera on, but I crossed the line and I crashed. Okay, I beat my parameters. I'm tired. More later.